because you guys are going to be in New Zealand for a while, right? And for a couple of days, and you're probably going to be looking for some sort of, influence and inspiration. There's this song that's really huge in New Zealand. It's a really old school song, but it's a real New Zealand sound that I want to play to you guys and see if it inspires you in any way, right? It's called Pour Air. Just listen to this. This is old school New Zealand music.
Oh, real old school.
Yeah.
This is the only song that's entirely in Maori, which is the native people of the country to ever go to #1.
It's kind of cool.
But I mean, you could jazz it up. So, just in case, I got it on CD for you guys, right? But I guarantee you, if you flop that out at some point tonight during your show, people will lose this.
Well, that's a cool picture.
Okay. And this is the only song that they've ever done, and the only song that's sort of been out since 1986. So if you ever wanted to include them on the new album, I'm sure you could probably give them
See the picture? It's really cool.
So do you...
No, it's lizard people. I don't know if we can play it anymore. I didn't know it was like that.
You fear the lizard people?
Yeah.
Actually, it is really weird.
apart from lizard people, is there anything else that you're not particularly au fait with?
What?
That you don't really like, that freaks you out, that you don't really want to deal with? Is there anything you're trying to avoid? Whether it be food or like, what freaks you out?
Rye bread.
It's an interesting spread. I don't imagine I've ever been anywhere where they've served bread, butter, and whatever that goop is.
Aioli, no, that's for my chips, as you call them. Though.
Oh, okay.
Over there.
That makes a little bit more sense than what was sitting on the table before.
But not all bread, just rye bread. I don't like rye bread.
Just like rye bread and sharks.
What's one of the biggest if it was like a shark and rye bread sandwich, that'd be the end of it, right?
Shark sandwich. This is the name of the Spinal Tap album. Remember the shit sandwich? There was a review.
What's are you Spinal Tap fans? You guys?
Well, yeah. If you're in a touring band, watching him is pretty funny and scary.
Yeah, it makes it so much funnier actually being in a band and I don't know, just going through a lot of the like publicity and like press and dealing with like playing weird gigs and stuff. Like so much that movie makes so much more sense.
It's a really good movie.
Talking sort of bands and rock and roll and stuff. Time to Pretend was all about sort of a rock and roll lifestyle. Do you think you live that or not really?
I think it's more rock and roll than like Sally Field or something.
Sally, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, I kind of hope so.
Sally Field, I don't know.
Sally Field, she's the American actress. Yeah. No, Sally Field is. Yeah.
I'm pretty ignorant.
Well, because I think on the outside, you look at bands that sort of tour the world and sing and stuff, and you want them to be rock and roll. So I think that's kind of cool that you are.
Yeah. I mean, I don't have the most positive associations with the words rock and roll lifestyle. Sometimes I think of like Nickelback or something. And then I feel really ashamed.
So you're saying like Chad Kroeger is never going to have a guest vocal thing on any of your albums? Because that would be really sad.
No, I'm not going to say anything mean, but no, I don't think he'll be appearing.
You've just recently done some work with is it Kid Cudi for his album? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Is there any chance of is there any people that you'd like to work with for your album? Because that was for his.
We've been working with Pete Kember from Spaceman 3 and Spectrum. He's been working with us for a few months, so that's been really cool. And had Jennifer Harima sing a guest vocal on one of our songs, and I don't know. Probably we don't have any like superstar guests who like people have really heard of. Like,
no.
But to us, they're superstars.
Yeah. Well, that was cool.
Can I sort of ask, like, you guys have been doing this thing for Chris Knox, which is really awesome, and just sort of what's the story behind that? How did you guys get involved with it?
Well, we were both fairly new to Tall Dwarves music, and when we were looking for bands to play with while we were in New Zealand, that they came up, and it's really good music, and we were really excited to play, and then the whole kind of incident with the stroke happened, and we felt like we needed to do something to help out, and so we did the DJ set, which went really well, and thanks. We raised some money, and yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's too bad we can't play the shows with him. I mean, it's kind of like one of those things where now, like, I'm starting to get really into Tall Dwarves music, and then let's just start regretting more and more the fact that we couldn't play with him here. You know?
So when it comes to opening bands, is that how it works? Basically, do you guys go in search of them, or does the promoter say, "Here's 10 bands, pick one," or how does that work?
We try to everywhere we go, we try to find a band that we actually know of or identify with to open for us, and I don't know. We try to avoid situations where it's like a list of bands that supposedly have something to do with our music, and we listen to it and don't really get into any of it, and it's like, I don't know. It's easier when we're touring in the U.S. or even Europe because we have friends bands who we can take out with us, but over here it's kind of difficult because we don't really have like connections with a ton of bands out here. So
these bands, do any of them have photos of lizard people? Because if they
The first prerequisite. So you kind of fell into it, one album down, second album coming out next year. Can you see yourself doing this in 30 years' time, or do you think you'll fade off and go and do something else and find something else to do?
I think we'd like to scale back touring and focus more on recording and being in the studio. But I hope I'm still doing music, playing music and recording in 30 years.
yeah, I think the same thing for me. Like, I don't know, since we started this band, like the focus has been a lot more on having fun, like recording and experimenting on our own than like it's been more about that than about playing tons of shows. And like we definitely enjoy playing live, but we don't really have a whole lot of time to be creative on our own. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to all of a sudden be like, all right, it's time to make an album, time to be creative and write some songs. It's a lot easier to actually just be living life and being like inspired by stuff that happens around you, and just decide to write a song one day or something.
So if you're heading along to one of the 3 shows, make the most of it, because it may be one of the few times that you venture or perform.
I'm sure we'll be touring non-stop for the next 2 or 3 years. Yeah.
All right, well, thank you so much for coming to New Zealand, because we do love having you here, and looking forward to the shows, and hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, thanks, man.
ZMTV. From ZMOnline.com.